Hey class, it's Daryl. This week's mission is on the moon, so let's go. So as we know, the Earth is a third planet from the sun. It's about 93 million miles away, and because the moon orbits us, it falls in about the same region. It's just that the actual distance from the sun to the moon kind of varies, give or take about 238,855 miles, depending on where it is in its orbit. And it's been found that this actually keeps increasing every year. Just the moon is gradually getting further away from us. So for the actual moon size, its radius is about 1,079 miles. It's just a little bit smaller than a quarter than the Earth's size, and I found this graphic comparing it to Jupiter's 4 largest moons. So we have Io, Europa, Ganymede, and Callisto. And if you look, the moon and Europa are pretty close to the same size. I just wanted to mention this because I always mentally scale up the moon in proportion to the planet, and that's just not the case, as you can see here. So for the actual formation of the moon, the most common theory used is the giant impact theory. This is a theory that uses the planetoid, commonly called Theia, and about the same size as Mars, actually hit Earth and ripped off the top layer of the material, and this fell into orbit around us, and over time it coalesced into the moon that we know today. So some of the features that we can see when we look at the moon, there are rills, which are thought to be ancient lava flow channels or collapsed lava tubes. There are rays, which are around craters, and they're thought to be ejected from impact. They're brighter in comparison because of a compositional difference between them and the surface material. And then there are maria, which are large plains of basalt, thought to be created by ancient lava flows, and they are the lovely dark marks on the face of our moon. So for lunar exploration, I decided to do Apollo 16. So Apollo 16 landed in the Descartes Highlands. These were chosen for apparent volcanic activity. Geologists just kind of reached a general consensus that there might be a lot of volcanic material that was in that specific region. So two of the crew members that they sent on this mission, John Young and Charles Duke, were experts in volcanism, but when they got there, they quickly reported that none of it there was volcanic rock. There was no volcanic activity to be found, which kind of confused everyone, but they ran experiments, which included heat flow experiments and passive and active seismic experiments. So talking about volcanism, lunar volcanism specifically, I thought it was really interesting because I've never really heard anyone talk about lunar volcanism. I'm thinking this might be because it's thought that it just abruptly ended about 1.5 billion years ago. It was thought that the mantle had kind of cooled down enough to end volcanic activity. But there was a photo taken, I believe, by the LROC that showed a much more recent volcanic feature. This is Ina. It's thought that it could have been formed as recently as 33 million years old, which is pretty new in comparison to when we thought that volcanism on the moon just kind of abruptly ended. And it led to a lot of studies that ended up analyzing there were at least 70 volcanic anomalies on the surface of the moon. Some of them as recent as 100 million years of age, or even later than that. So my thoughts on the moon, on whether we should continue to research it, I definitely think that we should, just because, first of all, it's the closest celestial body to us. Second of all, we don't, just based off of the lunar volcanism findings, we still don't know all that much about the moon. There's still a lot that we could find, if only we could research a little bit more. And since it's so close to us, it might hold a lot more answers than we thought. about the formation of our own planet and how our solar system works, how our immediate surroundings are working. So your references 1, 2, and 3, and I will include a link including the rest, which are mostly photos. So that's this week. Thank you.